Okay, we're wrapping up the crash course in Torah. In this session, we're in the book of Deuteronomy. We're at the very last parsha. And in this parsha, Moses blesses each tribe. It's the final day of his life. It's the seventh day of the Jewish month Adar. And he gathers each tribe in front of him and gives them a blessing. We saw this earlier in the Torah, that at the end of the book of Genesis, Jacob did the same thing. He gathered everybody around him, each of his sons, and he gave them a blessing. So Moses is doing the same as the Jewish people are about to enter the land of Israel, giving each tribe a sense of their own identity and place within the nation. So let's go through the blessings in a nutshell. The first one to get a blessing is Reuben. He's the firstborn son of Leah, and he was Jacob's firstborn son. He gets a blessing. He should live and not die, which tradition teaches he should live in this world and not die in the world to come. And that's because Reuben did something impulsive. Back in the book of Genesis, when Rachel passes away, then the sons of Leah assume that their mother, Leah, will take the next position of prominence. But right after Rachel passes away, Jacob moves Bilhah's bed into his tent. Bilhah was the maidservant of Rachel. So Reuben goes in and he takes Bilhah's bed out and puts Leah's bed in. So Jacob gets upset and Reuben loses his position of prominence as the firstborn in the family. So Moses confirms at this point that he should be accepted, he should live and not die in the world to come. Then Judah gets blessed next. The monarchy is going to come from Judah. King David comes from Judah. His son, obviously, Solomon, also comes from the same tribe. And therefore, the armies they're going to lead should be victorious in battle. Simeon is next. Now, he's not mentioned in Moses' blessing because of the incident of Baal Peor. If you recall back in the book of Numbers, in the 7th parsha, we have the story of King Balak, who hires the non-Jewish prophet Bilam to curse the Jewish people. When Bilam is unsuccessful, he ends up advising the Midianites that they should have their women tempt the Jewish people and the men. And they do, and they get the men to eventually worship an idol called Peor, the Baal Peor, which is a very debased form of worship. Anyway, the leader of the tribe of Simeon ends up taking one of these women, a princess from Midian, and he ends up doing a terrible act in front of Moses, and many people from the tribe of Simeon are wiped out as a result. So because of this terrible incident that was done, Moses did not give them a blessing here. Then we have the tribe of the Levites. Levites should be the teachers of the nations. They're going to be living throughout the land of Israel. They don't have their own territory, and they'll be teachers of the nation. Then we have Benjamin. Benjamin's going to have the temple built in his portion. That's his blessing. Now, there are different reasons given. One is that Benjamin was the only son of Jacob that was born in the Holy Land. He also didn't participate in the selling of Joseph like the other brothers did back in the book of Genesis. And finally, while Jacob was mourning what he thought was the loss of his son Joseph, Benjamin was able to comfort him to a certain extent. So as a result, Benjamin is blessed. The temple of Jerusalem will be in his portion. Then Joseph is next. He's blessed that his land should be very fertile, and he should also have his leadership blessed. Joshua, who's Moses' prime disciple, he's going to be the general who takes the Jewish people into the land of Israel, and he gets blessed that he should be victorious in all his battles and help the Jewish people settle the land. Zebulun comes next. He should be blessed in commerce. He's going to be living along the Mediterranean and be a seafaring tribe, and therefore he gets blessed. And then Yisachar gets blessed that he should be great in Torah, great scholars, great judges, and so on. Now, it's important to point out that Zebulun and Yisachar had an arrangement. Zebulun made a deal that he would support Yisachar so he could study and become great in Torah, and Yisachar would split the reward of his Torah study with the tribe of Zebulun. And that's an arrangement that's held throughout the Jewish world always, that those who are very prominent in material wealth help those gain spiritually, and that's how we've grown on both sides of the equation. God is blessed that his boundary should be broad. As you recall, back in the book of Numbers, God was one of the tribes that requested that he should have territory on the east side of the Jordan. He had tremendous flocks, so he gets blessed that his boundary should be broad, and he should have great strength because he's going to be a border tribe. He should be strong in terms of being able to vanquish his enemies. Dan is next. He's blessed. He should be like a fierce lion cub, and he should be able to defend his boundaries. He's going to be along the Mediterranean, and therefore he's going to be attacked from the sea. Naphtali's blessed with a tremendously fertile territory. Asher gets the final blessing. He gets blessed with fertility of land and progeny. He was one of the largest tribes during Moses' life, and Moses blesses him. He should remain large. His tribe shouldn't sin, which would cause the ultimate diminishment of the tribe. So those are the blessings that Moses gives each of the tribes. Then Moses ascends Mount Nebo. God gives him a view of the entire land. In fact, tradition teaches not only did Moses see the entire land, but he saw prophetically everything that would happen in the land of Israel until the very end of days. Then Moses passes away. It was the 7th day of Adar, as we had mentioned, and the nation mourns for Moses for 30 days. I want to conclude the crash course in Torah by reciting the final verse in the Torah. It reads, "Never again has there arisen in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom God had known face to face. Their relationship was of an intimate nature unlike any other prophet in Jewish history, as evidenced by all the signs and wonders that God sent him to perform in the land of Egypt against Pharaoh and all his courtiers and all his land, and by the strong hand and awesome power." This is referring to the fact that Moses was able to carry the 10 commandments of stone, which were extremely heavy, that Moses performed in the eyes of all Israel. This refers, tradition teaches, the event of the golden calf. When Moses saw part of the nation dancing around the golden calf, he lifted up the tablets of stone and smashed them. Because not only does a Jewish leader have to know how to build, he has to also be prepared to destroy if the Jewish people aren't ready for it, which was clearly the case at that point. I want to conclude the crash course in Torah by deriving a lesson from how the Torah ends and how it begins. So you can see the last word in the Torah is Israel. In Hebrew, that's Yisrael. The first word in the Torah in Hebrew is Bereshit, which is 3 words in English, in the beginning, Bereshit. So the Torah ends with the letter Lamed, and if you go back to the beginning, it would be joined with the letter Beis. Together, those 2 letters in Hebrew, Lev, spell heart, because that's what Torah study is all about. It's about getting to the heart of who you are. It's about getting to the heart of what it means to be part of the Jewish people, and it's getting to the very heart of life and to the very heart of our relationship with the Almighty. So my hope and prayer has been that by taking you through the crash course in Torah, we've been able to navigate our journey, to map things out in a way that you've got a handle on what the entirety of the Torah is all about. Who's who, what's what, where all the major events and concepts appear, so you can build more systematically into the next stage. There's a lot to learn, but I hope that you have a handle on a lot of Torah knowledge to help you navigate your journey further. So we're going to continue in the crash course in Torah. We're going to go through our history, we're going to go through our holidays, and we're going to go through understanding what our tradition is all about as part of the fastest Jewish education on earth. We'll also have a video on next steps you should take in your Torah study, and we're going to do more videos, believe me, on what's in the Torah and why things are the way they are, what tradition teaches. So whenever we conclude a book of the Torah, we always conclude with the words Chazak, Chazak, V'nischazek, which means be strong, and may we be strengthened. That is the goal of Torah learning. All right, we're going to conclude with a little review, as is our tradition. So here goes. Deuteronomy, the close is that Moses blesses each tribe just as Jacob did. Moses blesses Reuben that he should live and not die in the world to come. Judah should be blessed that his army should be victorious because the monarchy will come from him and he will lead the Jewish people to battle. Simeon is not mentioned because of the incident in Baal Peor. Levi should become great teachers of the nation. Benjamin, the temple will reside in his portion. Joseph is blessed with great land and leadership. Joshua is going to come from him, and he's going to be the one to take the Jewish people into the land of Israel. Zebulun is blessed in commerce, and he strikes a deal with Issachar, who will become great in Torah. They're partners together. God, his boundaries should be broad and great strength against the enemies that attack from the east. Dan should be fierce like a lion cub. He should defend his boundaries as he lives along the Mediterranean. Naphtali is blessed with fertile territory, and Asher is blessed with tremendous fertility of land and progeny as a very large tribe. Moses ascends Mount Nebo. He gets to see the entire land, which he's not going to be allowed to take the Jewish people in. Moses passes away on the 7th day of Adar. The nation mourns for him, and Joshua is going to have to take the Jewish people in. The book of Joshua is the first book in the book of prophets, which we're going to see when we go through the crash course in Jewish history.